Welcome back everyone, Adzi here with another Airsoft replica for us to take a little look at today. This is a Cyma, as you can see here, and this particular one is one of their M4 variants. It is an M4S system. So those of us that are perhaps familiar with that might know that it is from the Call of Duty series. So if anyone's a bit of a gamer out there and has played the Call of Duty, it is from the original Modern Warfare 2, because I believe there's another newer Modern Warfare 2 just to confuse us all, but that is featured in that game just in case you're interested. So here it is in its box, nice packaging as always, but we don't want to see too much of that. We want to see what's inside. So without any further mucking about, let's get that out and take a look at what it's all about. So there it is, just like that, it's out of the box. Now, here we have it from back to front. Obviously your stock, your receiver, and of course your front end. And I believe it's all this rail system here that makes it the S system. So like most other M4s it's got all this chunky rail system that goes all the way around the front, which makes it what it is. So there you are, you can see from that angle, that is the one that we all liked in the Call of Duty game. I'm sure we've all seen it if you're into your games yourself. So here it is on the bench. Now this is the full metal version that Cyma do. So we've got full metal upper and lower on the receivers. You've got all the metal barrel, etc. Now obviously all of the front grip section here, that is all plastic. And I believe some of this top rail is a mixture of metal and plastic all across the top. And then of course you've got your flip up sights, but you've got any number of rails that you could put whatever sights you may wish to attach to it. You can have your red dots on top, you can have your foregrips, your under grenade launchers, tack lights, whatever you want to put on it. It's got all the rails in which to do so. Obviously extendable stock as well. It's nice and easy to use. And the battery compartment, we'll open that. That is going to be in this front section here. So as with those liquids popped up on both sides, that's going to open. And it's going to give us a little bit of room in there for the battery. Now I would imagine probably a nunchuck style battery is going to be what's best to fit in there. So something a bit like that, so you've got plenty of flexibility to wrap the cells of the battery around the barrel. And of course as standard, it's going to have a mini tamiya. That is something that I would probably personally change to a Dean's connection, just because it is a much more definite connection between the battery and the workings of the rifle. And then for the flip side of the rifle, all looking good. Now if we retract the cocking handle, we can lock that back in place, and that reveals the hop-up adjustment as you'd expect. It's a rotary style one of these, so that's pretty good news in my opinion. That I think is a nice way of applying direct pressure to the top of the hop in there. So as a standard bit of kit, that's pretty good going. Yes, you can change all the rubbers and that if you wish, and I probably would myself, but perhaps we'll go into that into another video. But for the purposes of this, I would say out of the box, that is pretty decent in terms of standard fitment that's in there. So that's all good. And then we've got on the flip side, bolt release, pushing that, lets it go forward as you'd expect. Let's close all that up, and that's kind of an overview of the outside. Another thing you're going to get in the box obviously is your magazine. In this case it is a high cap. I think that's probably about a 300 rounder, pretty standard, nothing too fancy. Open the back, spin the wheel, put it in, pull the trigger, dead easy. Okay, so we've had a little bit of an overview of the exterior and some of the key features across it. But the bit we all want to know is, what does it shoot like? So, safety first and all that. That is now got its mag in with 0.25 gram BBs. I thought I'd start with 2.5s because I think that's a fair test for something out of the box. We don't want to push it too hard. If we make some amendments later on, which there may well be indeed be a video for that, then we'll put some heavier BBs in. But for now, to be fair to it, out of the box, I've managed to set the hop, so I've been able to take that to a range, get it so that they're sailing nicely. So we're going to bung it through the chrono. We're going to do a rate of fire test. Now this is on a 11.1 volt LiPo battery, just so we know what it's running on. Obviously still on the Tamiya connections at the moment. So we're going to put a few shots through it, through the chrono, just to see what sort of result we get. So yeah, here's the trusty chrono. Let's turn it on and see what happens. So here we go, to test it on the chrono, we've got 0.25 gram BBs, and the hop has been set to shoot those at a decent range. So it's a fair test on here for what we're going to be getting on the results. We're running on 11.1 volt battery, so let's see what result we get. 295, 295, 289, 295, 293, and 298. So a good average there. So power wise, initially, that is running at around 1 joule, which is absolutely perfect. So that's the sort of desired power that we would like. Now, admittedly, obviously, if we did try and use a heavier BB, it's going to require more hop, and that would likely slow things down. But for what we tested it on there, out of the box, I think that is very, very good. So Cyma haven't disappointed on that one. Now to put the fun switch on, so chuck it on full auto, and we'll just see what rate of fire we get from that. So that has just done, again, consistently around 1 joule, and it's done 18 rounds per second, which I think is pretty good. That's pretty fair and respectable. So no complaints there with its overall performance out of the box in terms of how fast and how far it's shooting its BBs. So that is really good. Now this could be something that we look at, potentially open it up in another video, see what improvements we can make, maybe fire slightly faster rate of fire, maybe slightly heavier BBs, just to see what sort of range we can squeeze out of it as a maximum. But I do think that's something for another video. In the meantime though, I hope you found that really useful, and maybe that helps you along if you're looking at something like that yourself. But I think pretty much most things from Cyma are pretty good. I quite like them as a brand, doing what I do, opening them up, working on them, upgrading them and things like that. I do think they're quite a nice bit of kit to work on. So yeah, as I say, hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.